How amazing is the world in slow motion? What would happen if you slowed down a moment 1,000 times? In slow motion, our vision is introduced to a completely new dimension. In this dimension, there's a world of surprises you'll never see, like blowing up this oversized balloon. At the moment of blowing up the balloon fragments are like fireworks. It's short, but brilliant. If you don't slow down the picture, it's hard to see this effect. If you split this brick by hand, what would it look like in slow motion? At the moment of contact between the palm of the hand and the brick, the whole palm of the hand is twisted and deformed under the force of the brick. I can feel the pain through the screen. So what happens when you hit a lit tennis ball with a tennis racket? First, the racket is doused in gasoline. Then you throw the lit tennis ball into the air, and then you hit it hard. In slow motion, you can see that the tennis ball separates from the flame, and the flame ignites the gasoline splashing out from behind. The flame also disappears in the air, creating a unique visual impact. There are many other wonderful moments in slow motion. You must have seen a dog drinking water, but have you ever seen a dog drinking water in slow motion? It turns out that in slow motion, the dog is curling his tongue to hook the water into his mouth little by little. He needs to repeat this action many times to drink the water. Then there's the image of the tattoo gun rapidly tattooing the dog. If you slow down the image by 1,000 times, you can see that the moment the needle touches the skin, it's like a sewing machine, stabbing the color into the skin as fast as it can. Hundreds of stitches are inserted every second. If you want to get a tattoo, you'll have to reconsider. Without slow motion, I wouldn't be able to see such a shocking scene. It's true, everything looks cooler in slow motion.
This is what humans will look like in 1,000 years. Can you believe it? What horrible changes will happen to the human body then? Please watch this video carefully, because it will probably change your mind. First of all, 1,000 years later, humans are generally taller than 1.8 meters, and all of them have long legs. That's because, with the development of society and the improvement of medical standards, humans may grow in a specific direction. Everyone can get more adequate nutrition. The second point is that human eyes will become bigger and bigger. Everyone will have a pair of big Kazran eyes. Because in the future, with advanced technology, human eyes will evolve a wider field of vision to receive more information. Point 3, everyone's nose will look the same, and there may not even be a single hair on their body. That's because people stayed indoors for a long time. They were heavily dependent on the heating system inside the house, and were no longer affected by the outside climate. So nose and body hair are no longer useful. The fourth point is that human teeth would have deteriorated. Everyone will have a small mouth. That's because in the future, food will be so soft and tender. Humans will no longer need teeth to chew food. They basically rely on fluids to get more nutrients. Fifth, human fingers and arms will become long and thin. In the future, humans won't need to do manual labor. All the work will be done by machines. And slender arms and flexible fingers can better help humans use all kinds of precision instruments. Sixth, the human brain will shrink and become smaller and smaller. This is due to the advancement of technology. Machines will replace human memory and thinking. A lot of complex information will be handed over to computers, although the brain is getting smaller, but the intelligence is very high. Humans will be even smarter then. After all, it's the best of the best. So do you think the expert simulations of the future human race have evolved or deteriorated?
The person who invented the mortar was truly a genius. This is a weapon used for indirect fire support and short-range firepower. It is carried easily and is easy to set up, adapting to various terrains and battlefield conditions. Let's take a look at the components that make up a mortar. The circular disc at the bottom is called the base plate. The base plate is a flat, sturdy metal plate located at the bottom of the mortar tube. When the mortar is fired, the base plate is used to absorb the recoil and provide stability to the weapon during the firing process. This cylinder is the mortar tube, which is also a major component of the mortar. It is where the mortar shell is loaded and launched from. This part is the aiming device of the mortar, which helps the operator determine the correct elevation and direction to ensure that the mortar shell hits the target. These are the bipod legs used to stabilize the mortar tube. They assist the operator in accurately aligning the mortar with the target and ensuring that the barrel remains stable during firing, improving shooting accuracy. Now let's take a look at the internals of the mortar shell. It has a fuse at its head for impact detonation, a substantial amount of high explosive filler in the body, and a bursting charge. At the tail of the mortar shell, there is a propellant device and an impact fuse. The mortar's effective range can reach up to 40 meters, which is equivalent to the length of 3 large trucks. Let's see how it is fired. First, the mortar shell is placed into the mortar tube. When the shell drops and hits the firing pin at the bottom of the mortar tube, the primer is activated, igniting the propellant charge. This instantly generates a large amount of gas inside the mortar tube, propelling the shell out. The quantity of propellant charge can be adjusted. If we reduce the amount of propellant charge, the range will decrease accordingly. A fully loaded shell with propellant can have a range of up to 6 kilometers. Do you know how many different types of fusing modes there are for mortar shells?
Fireworks are brilliant and eye-catching, but are you curious about why they are colorful and come in different shapes? This video will take you through a 3D disassembly and show you the inner principle of fireworks. Most of the fireworks are wrapped in a paper shell, which is the launching tube of the fireworks. The purpose of the launching tube is to launch the fireworks into the air at the right angle, similar to a track. At the very bottom of the tube is a base made of clay, also known as the foundation layer. It is easily visible after the fireworks are launched. Above the base is the gunpowder layer, filled with gunpowder propellant, which is the same as the propellant in a rocket shell, consisting of sulfur, carbon, and potassium nitrate. The red thread on the left is the fuse of the firework, and the fuse consists of black powder and a fabric wrap, which is waterproofed by applying wax to the outer layer. Next, this yellow sphere fireworks bomb is the most central part of the fireworks. Inside this fireworks shell, the pellets are arranged in different patterns, such as smiley faces and 5-pointed stars. When the fireworks explode in the air, we can see the different shapes of the fireworks pattern, so the fireworks explosion shape depends on the projectile combination order. In the center of the firework projectile there is the same gunpowder used for detonation, which is covered with round cardboard and mortar to hold the projectile inside the launch tube and provide a seal. What happens when the fuse is ignited? When the propellant is ignited, high temperatures and gases are generated within the layers of gunpowder, which propel the firework projectile to a height of 300 meters. When the firework reaches a certain height, the delay fuse at the end is ignited and finally the fuse ignites the internal gunpowder to trigger an explosion. So after the fireworks are launched, it takes a few seconds before we can see them explode. If you want the fireworks to take different shapes, you just need to set the pattern of the internal projectile in advance. If the internal projectile is a circle, the firework will be a circle when it explodes. The color of the firework is changed according to the filler. Strontium is red, barium is green, copper is blue, and aluminum or magnesium produces white. Although fireworks are beautiful to look at, you must pay attention to safety when setting them off so as not to cause a fire.
What climate do you think is most suitable for human habitation? Let's take a look at several types of climates on Earth that are relatively habitable. First, there is the subtropical monsoon climate, characterized by hot and rainy summers and relatively mild, not too cold winters with less precipitation. However, due to the pronounced monsoon characteristics, extreme high temperatures and heavy rain are common during the summer, leading to frequent floods. Subtropical monsoon climates are primarily found in southern China, as well as in the southern regions of Japan and the Korean peninsula. Next is the subtropical monsoon-influenced humid climate, where there is less temperature variation between winter and summer, and precipitation is more evenly distributed throughout the year. This climate type is mainly found in the southeastern United States, southeastern South America, and the eastern coast of Australia. The third type is the temperate maritime climate, characterized by mild and humid conditions year-round, with not too cold winters and not too hot summers. Precipitation is relatively evenly distributed throughout the year, and prevailing westerly winds blow consistently. However, this climate often comes with overcast skies and high humidity. It is primarily found in northwestern Europe and some coastal areas on other continents. The Mediterranean climate is influenced by alternating westerly winds and subtropical high-pressure systems. Summers are hot and dry, while winters are mild and rainy. However, the difference in precipitation between the rainy and dry seasons can have a significant impact on agriculture. Lastly, there is the temperate monsoon climate, characterized by hot and rainy summers and cold and dry winters. This climate is prevalent in the North China Plain region, with living conditions becoming less favorable as you move further north. What kind of climate do you live in, and which one is your favorite?
When a high-voltage line falls to the ground due to a fault, why can't you run? This is because when a live wire of an overhead line breaks on the ground, landing point and the potential of the charged wire is the same. The current will flow from the wire's landing point to the earth. So the ground to the landing point of the wire as the center to form a concentric circle in all directions. If a person walks around the landing point, there will be a potential difference between their feet. That's what we call step voltage. When a person is subjected to step voltage, a high voltage current will flow in one foot and out the other. The current will form a path between the human body and the earth. This will cause great harm to the body, and electrocutions caused by step voltage are called step voltage electrocutions. So how do we save ourselves in this extreme situation? First of all, don't panic. When you first step into the electrified area, the voltage at this time will at most make your legs numb only. This is because the farther you are from the landing point of the wire, the more the current is dispersed, the lower the voltage on the ground. On the other hand, the closer you are to the landing point, the greater the span between your legs. The more damage the voltage across your legs can do. So if you get into the area of the voltage across your legs, you must remain calm. Don't run as fast as you can, because the bigger the step, the faster you die. At this time, what you need to do is not to land on both feet at the same time. It's best to lift one foot to break the circuit, and jump backward with one foot, gradually leaving the stride voltage zone. You can also try to put your feet together by rubbing against the ground, and move forward little by little. Remember, don't let your feet leave the ground until you are out of the danger zone. If you find these two methods too difficult, the easiest way is to put your feet together and jump at the same time. Jump away from the electrified area. Learning how to do this may save your life in a pinch.